It's time for me to utter some words I've been waiting all summer to say. Welcome to Championship Night here on this Tuesday afternoon in August between the Lightning and the Nor'easters, the two top teams in the Greater Northeast Collegiate Baseball League. It could only end one way, and by the end of the night, we will know whether the Lightning will repeat as 2 times in a row GNCBL champions or whether a new champion will be crowned in these visiting Nor'easters. I'm Charlie Fellows, as always, here to take you through one final evening of Greater Northeast Collegiate Baseball League action, which is no less of a tongue twister now than it was at the beginning of the year. The Lightning are the home team. They're in the field first with ace Quinn McDonald on the mound. He has pitched once this postseason, and lots throughout the year as the most effective starting pitcher on the Lightning squad. Their defense around him: Richie Gilboy at first, Grady Hotham at second, Henry Bebo at short, Andrew Heffernan at third. The outfield from left to right: Matthew Connor, Henry Lodger, Campbell Cassidy, and Gus Holland doing the catching in the absence of Nick Frink, which is a notable absence we will discuss in a minute. He is doing the catching for McDonald, the St. Anselm commit from Kennebunkport and Kennebunk High School. McDonald was the starter in the wild card victory over the Windjammers for these Lightning. He tossed 4 innings, allowed 1 run, struck out 8, and allowed 8 hits. He will face off against the Nor'easters leadoff man Jack LeBlond, who takes ball 1 as we are underway. LeBlond has led off for the Nor'easters throughout their playoff campaign and hits that high on the infield, arcing back into foul territory. Gus Holland can't make a play. 1-1. LeBlond, while in leadoff duty so far across 2 playoff games, is 2 for 5. He's also walked twice. Despite the Nor'easters being in this championship game, none of their players have more than 2 hits during these playoffs. They have gotten there with their pitching. 1-1 from Quinn McDonald is roped foul. The Nor'easters' counterpart to Quinn McDonald is Colin McDonald, and he made a rousing case to be the best pitcher in the GNCBL with that last name on Sunday night when he pitched a complete game shutout to send the Norsemen home in losers finals at 3rd place. That's a wave and miss from LeBlond. Quinn McDonald starts his afternoon with a strikeout.
Up next,
Brady Graffam also has gone 2 for 5 in the playoffs with 2 walks. He has a double, and he's also scored a run this regular season. The sophomore at USM hit .246, roped fouled on the left field line. He drove in 9 runs, hit 4 more doubles. Known for his speed on the base paths. Graffam is. To all the viewers tuning in on the live stream, once again, I thank you for joining me this evening. It's a pleasure to get to live stream these games and bring them as they happen right to the people on this climactic evening of GNCBL action. It's all come down to these either 1 or 2 games. Graffam, another swing and miss, 2 swinging Ks in as many at-bats so far against Quinn McDonald, excuse me. I'm going to make that mistake a lot over the course of this game, so I apologize in advance. Dawson Gunlaw will bat with 2 away. He is 1 for 7 in the playoffs, also reached on a fielder's choice. In stark contrast to his regular season, hit .333 with 7 runs batted in. He takes strike 1. I say either 1 or 2 games because this is a double elimination bracket. The Nor'easters, despite being the 1 seed, are the road team because they are coming from losers and thus need to win twice to take home the title. If they win game 1, game 2 will be at 7:30. I probably won't even turn the stream off. Roped into left center field, down for a base hit. Second knock of the playoffs for Gunlaw. 2-out single for him.
Up next,
Andrew Merrill will bat now with 2 down. He's 1 for 6 with a walk and an intentional walk. This is not the first time these two teams have met even in the playoffs. They played against each other more times in the regular season than any two other teams, and of course it would stand to reason that they would face each other twice in the playoffs, as that is a lazy fly out to right, but into no man's land and foul ground. Nobody can track it down. Gilboy made a admirable effort, but could not get there. Strike one. In the first meeting between these two teams, it was the Nor'easters who were the home team. They were the 1 seed, the Lightning at 4, coming out of a wild card win. That game was Thursday night at Goodall Field in Sanford. The Nor'easters held a lead as a got jammed comebacker back to McDonald, throws over to Gilboy for out number 3. The Lightning retire the Nor'easters without much of an incident in the top of the first. When we come back, we'll learn about those Lightning bats. To the bottom of the first we go. Dylan Miner on the bump today for the Nor'easters. This is a rematch of the starters from that winners quarterfinals game that the Lightning took. Miner has a defense around him. Brady Graffam at first, Luke Chessie at second, Jack LeBlanc at short, Gus Lappin at third. That has been the infield so far throughout the playoffs. In the outfield, Chris Balzano in left, Michael Weird in center, Ryan Robertson in right, with Dylan Furman catching for Miner, the senior at USM out of Sacapee Valley High School. This regular season, he threw 29 and third innings with a 2.86 ERA and 34 strikeouts. That was third in the league. This playoffs, he started that winners quarterfinals game, and it was a tale of the first 5 innings versus the 6th. He threw 6 innings, allowed 6 hits and 4 runs. 3 of them were in that 6th inning, where he had been cruising and then, without warning, proceeded to melt down and ultimately give the game away, though that was not entirely his fault, as we will soon get to. He faces off against Andrew Heffernan, always the leadoff man for the Lightning, and he grounds it right back to Miner. 1 pitch, 1 out. Heffernan has not had a great go of things so far in the playoffs. With that ground out, he is now 3 for 11. 2 for 11, excuse me. Campbell Cassidy had a big start to his postseason campaign. In the wild card win over the Windjammers, he was 3 for 4 and hit a 3-run bomb. Since then, he is 1 for 8 with 3 strikeouts. Takes strike 1 there. As I was saying, Miner not entirely to blame, as his Nor'easter bats left the bases loaded 3 times, including in the climactic bottom of the 7th. Andrew Merrill had a chance to walk it off and instead flew out. That is right now the difference between home and road advantage here. Of course, the Lightning very nearly weren't even in this game at all. They were 3 outs away from playing against the Nor'easters 1 round early in losers finals, but the Norsemen squandered a 2-run lead, allowed a 5-run rally as that misses low, 1 and 2. Off the arm of Lucas Francis. And the Norsemen could not mount one of their patented comebacks. That's hit right to short. LeBlanc can't quite corral it, and Campbell Cassidy's going to leg it out. Even if Graffam had dug that out of the dirt, likely would not have been in time. Infield hit for him. Definitely what Cassidy wanted to see after his last couple games.
Up next, Richie Gilboy.
The Lightning have played 4 playoff games. The next highest total of playoff games is these Nor'easters with 2. That's what happens when you play a wild card matchup, and The Patriots disqualify themselves by not having enough players, thus giving the Nor'easters a free win. Richie Gilboy now with one out and one on. That pitch just misses. Throughout the regular season, the St. Michael's commit was one of the GNCBL's top hitters, 3.54 average. Was fifth in the GNCBL, 16 runs batted in, were third. In the playoffs, it's been a different story. He's gone 1 for 6 with a walk. The Lightning have gotten contributions from unlikely places. In the last game they played, it was Henry Lodger who hit that 2-run bomb that opened the scoring floodgates for the Lightning. Lodger did not have a home run all season as Gilboy fouls that back for 1-2. Gilboy at first today. Normally this Lightning roster, Lightning lineup with 4 of the most terrifying power hitters in the GNCBL as their first 4 members, down to 3 today. Missing the last member of the quartet, Nick Frink, reported to Merrimack, and he is not here. That misses the strike zone, brings the count full. Heffernan, Cassidy, and Gilboy is a more potent power hitting trio than any other team in the GNCBL could boast on their own. So the Lightning certainly all right. That's skied out to left center. Balzano gets under it and makes the grab for out number 2.
Up next, Henry Lodger.
And here is that hero from the previous game, Henry Lodger. Over these playoffs, he is 3 for 10. He's hit a double, struck out 3 times, but last game made himself the star and saved the Lightning from a trip to the losers bracket as that gets through the legs of the catcher Dylan Furman. Cassidy advancing to second base. Lodger hit a mammoth 2-run shot over the left field wall. They were the first 2 runs of a 5-run top of the 7th, which the Norsemen could not answer. From there, they fell into the losers bracket where a Colin McDonald masterpiece left them scoreless and returning to their respective schools. That just nicks the corner of the strike zone, 1-2 to Lodger, the Husson commit. The regular season, he hit 154, drove in 5 runs. Not known as a power hitter. 1-2. Check to swing. Gus Holland on deck with 2 down. Should the inning get there? Runner goes, and that's strike 3. Lodger gets rung up, and that will end the inning. No score after 1 here in Old Orchard. To the second inning we go. Both teams with remarkably similar first frames. One hit and nothing coming of it. Michael Weir and Luke Chessie, Ryan Robertson due up against Quinn McDonald. Here at the GNCBL's home base this season, so to speak, the ballpark at Old Orchard Beach. It's been a wonderful home for the league and for me, as it's the only, by far the closest park by driving distance. Not that Harrison or Auburn or Standish weren't entertaining locales to drive to. 2-1 to Weirn, the junior at St. Joseph's, who is 2 for 6 with a double and a run over 2 playoff games. And he takes an outside strike as recently as this morning. It was looking dicey as to whether this game would even happen at all, as that's off the end of the bat into right field, coming on and making the catch on the run. Campbell Cassidy, it looked like he might not be able to cover that ground at first, but he does, and Weirn is retired for Luke Chessie. As I was saying, the baseball gods relented, reminded us of our own mortality, and then let us have our fun. As it is a relatively harmless, cloudy evening here at Old Orchard Beach. Strike one delivered to Luke Chessie, who has not had the best go of things in the playoffs. There are 18 players batting on both sides combined today. Actually 19, because the Nor'easters have 10. And of them, just one has not managed to get a single hit so far in the playoffs, and that man is Luke Chessie. He is 0 for 6. He has struck out 3 times. His bat has not come to life, and he waves and misses at a high strike. He can't break out of the funk there. That's Quinn McDonald's third K, and now Ryan Robertson with 2 down is 2 for 6 in the playoffs. Regular season hit .283 with 6 runs batted in. He takes a strike right down the middle. Sophomore at Immaculata. He's in right today. Foul back off the indestructible glass of the abandoned luxury boxes. 0-2. Lays off. Robertson out of Bowdoin. Went to Mount Ararat High School. Wave out and miss. That's K number 4. Quinn McDonald dealing through 2. Coming back right after this. Bottom of the second we go. Dylan Miner back on the bump for Gus Holland, Henry Bebo, and Grady Hotham. Charlie Fellows, as always, in the booth. Minor's first frame allowed a single. Campbell Cassidy got the second on a pass ball, but could not do anything with that. Gus Holland so far in the playoffs, 1 for 7 with a walk. After hitting .354 in the regular season, high foul back out of play. One and one from the East Baldwin native, Dylan Minor. 6'5" righty. Not many places where being 6'5", it makes you the second tallest person in attendance, but that is true of Minor today. The 6'7" Ian Libby is in the other dugout. Strike two delivered to Holland. Umpire enthusiastic about that one and loses part of his mask while gesturing. Holland, a Freeport native. He's going to USM in the fall. And by the fall, I mean probably just a couple of weeks. Big cut. Both pitchers throwing gas early.
Up next, Henry Bebo.
Henry Bebo now with one away. Heading to Bowdoin College in the fall out of Portland High School. He has had a back and forth playoff campaign. In total, he is 2 for 7 with 3 runs batted in. In the wild card game, he went 0 for 3. In the divisional round against the Nor'easters, he went 2 for 2 with 3 runs batted in and a walk. And then last game, he went 0 for 2 while being hit by a pitch. So that trend would indicate that he's in for a big one today. 2-1. The GNCBL, of course, is a pitcher-dominated league, has been all season. And especially so in this game with the possibility of a reset and another game having to be played, winner take all. After the conclusion of this one, teams are going to have to be very wary of going deep into their bullpens. So really banking on deep starts from McDonald and Minor. And that just misses for a ball 4. Bebo aboard.
Up next, Grady Hoffman.
Grady Hotham has played well. He has been the Lightning's best hitter and is their best hitter in attendance today with Nick Frink absent. Both he and Hotham were 5 for 9 in the playoffs coming into today. So Hotham inherits that title. He has 5 singles and a runs batted in to his name. 1 run batted in and 5 singles, I should clarify. 0-1. Throw down to first. A common practice here. Hotham out of Palermo. Up in Central Maine. He waves at strike 2. Went to Erskine Academy up in South China, which is a town over. This season he hit 122 with 7 runs batted in and led the GNCBL with regular season strikeouts with 22. So far in the playoffs, though, just 1 K to his name across 3 games, though he's 1 strike away from doubling that figure. And he'll do just that. Minor gets him to chase for strikeout number 3. Reese Owens now thrust into the starting lineup in the absence of Frink, normally a pinch hitter. Bloops that into right field past the glove of the second baseman, Chessie. And the Lightning with a pair of base runners with 2 down. Second hit surrendered by Dylan Miner. And Matthew Connor will bat. The 9-man in this lineup. Connor headed to Assumption from Cheverus High School. This regular season hit 188 with 3 runs batted in. And he looks at strike 1. He's out and left today with 2 on and 2 out. And inning number 2 hits that well into center. Dropping, and that's going to fall into the gap. I thought that was going to hang longer than it did. 1 run is in. Owens is going to hang up at third base, wisely so. But the Lightning get themselves on the board with an RBI double with 2 outs here in the second. Matthew Connor now the hero, another unlikely run batted inner. A term I just invented.
Up next, Andrew Heffernan.
Andrew Heffernan will bat for the second time. And he'll take strike 1. He grounded out to the pitcher to start the Lightning side of things. Now he has 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs. If he can break out of this funk, he will get the chance to put a crooked number up on the scoreboard early. Always a long ball threat, too. Did not go around there. 2-1. Last time Dylan Miner was out, it took a while for him to be put on the ropes. Lightning wasting no time here in Old Orchard. Strike 2 fired into the zone. One to nothing here in the bottom of the second. Will the Lightning continue to tack it on? Nice diving stop by Dylan Furman. That saved a run. Full count. In a game, as I said before, we're happy to be playing. Narrowly averted the tempest that was apparently summoned as a result of teams called the Nor'easters and Lightning meeting in the GNCBL Championship. And in that sense, I almost wish we had gotten some rain while this game was going on, so I could have made that joke more. Payoff pitch. And that's ball 4. Heffernan, with excellent plate discipline, draws the second walk issued by Miner, and they are all loaded up for Campbell Cassidy with two down.
Up next, Campbell Cassidy.
Cassidy singled his first time up. To do so again would score at least 2. Waves at Miner's first offering. And looks at a ball, just misses, 1-1. If Miner can't escape this, perhaps it would portend a reversal of fortune. Last time these two teams met, it was the Nor'easters, leaving the bases loaded constantly. Campbell ducking out of the way of ball 2. Or perhaps strike 2. That's what the scoreboard says. 1-2 from Miner. And that was strike 2 because the pitch that followed was strike 3. Miner escapes and leaves the bases loaded, but the Lightning do strike first. They lead it 1-0 after 2. third inning now. Dylan Furman, Chris Balzano, Gus Lappin, the bottom three of the order for the Nor'easters, due up against Quinn McDonald, who has allowed just the one hit thus far. Dylan Miner in that last inning, believe it or not, did strike out the side, just had a few hits and a walk in between. 2 walks, actually. So he evened the strikeout battle that is outgoing here at 4. Up the middle by Furman, and that'll get through for a base hit. Leadoff base runner in the third. That will plate Chris Balzano, junior at Roger Williams. This regular season hit .224 with 9 runs batted in and a home run. The only home run hit all year by a Nor'easter. So far in the playoffs, he's 1 for 3, has struck out twice and walked. Hit well into center. Lodger tracks it down, and Lappin will scamper back to first. Furman, excuse me, because Lappin is the one at bat.
Up next, Gus Lappin.
Lappin batting 10th out of 10. Junior out of Husson. In the playoffs, hitting 2 for 4, has a double and 2 runs batted in, also 2 strikeouts. That gets away from the catcher Holland. Down to second goes Furman. These playoffs have featured their share of drama. Really, the only game that wasn't close was the first one, which these Lightning partook in. Wave at and missed by Lappin. Quick 0-2. They took down the Windjammers 7-2 to eliminate them at 5th place. Then they moved on to play the Nor'easters, won in a 4-3 thriller. Meanwhile, on the other side of the bracket, the Nor'easters, or the Norsemen rather, defeated the Patriots on that same evening in Sanford. That was a 4-2 affair. The Patriots promptly had to forfeit their losers match. That's up the middle, but fielded by the second baseman. Over to Gilboy for out number 2. Furman advances to third. Now we'll bring up Jack LeBlanc at the top of the order, who started this game out by striking out swinging.
At bat, Jack LeBlanc.
Wave out and missed. As I was saying, the Patriots could not field a team for what would have been the losers' semifinal game against the Nor'easters. So they had to be disqualified at 4th place. The Nor'easters got afloat to losers' finals where they played the Norsemen after they fell in that dramatic come-from-behind victory by the Lightning that put them 1 win away. A win they are seeking in this game. And the Nor'easters silenced the Norsemen bats and won comfortably in that loser final game. And here we are. That just misses. 2-2 on LeBlanc. Just to reiterate, this may very well not be the only game played tonight. If it ended right now, it would be. The Lightning need just 1 game. But if the Nor'easters can come back and take the win, it will set up a winner-take-all game during which the Nor'easters, by virtue of their higher seed, will be the home team. So the teams will be trading dugouts. Full count. And that's taken high. LeBlanc draws a walk, and like the Lightning did half an inning ago, the Nor'easters with a 2-out rally brewing.
Up next, Brady Graff.
The first walk issued by Quinn McDonald. Brady Graffam also struck out swinging. And now McDonald appears to be in some discomfort. So A Mound Conference will commence. There has not been any action in the Lightning bullpen, but we might be seeing an impromptu pitching change here. Manager Matt Powers has guided this team through ups and downs. Had a rocky start to the campaign, got swept into decisive losses to these very Nor'easters up in Harrison. McDonald's going to gut through it and pitch to Graffam. Lightning since then have righted the ship somewhat, but they still finished the season 8-8-1, dropping 2 games on the last day of the season to fall from the 2nd seed to 4th. No matter for them, though. They have overcome that. And are 1 win away from their 2nd straight GNCBL title. A 1 from McDonald, spoiled by Graffam. I was thinking you might see some bullpen activity for the Lightning after that, but none at present. Oh, 2. Again, spoiled. And now Blake Peoples appears to be heading back. No, just retrieving a rogue ball. Everybody doing their part today. And that's strike 3. Graffam looks at a strike right in the corner of the zone. He goes down on strikes for the 2nd time. McDonald gets out of it and keeps his lead at 1. Bottom of the 3rd in Old Orchard Beach. Lightning lead it 1-0. Quinn McDonald just navigated out of a big jam. Runners on the corners with 2 outs. No problem for him. Got a huge strikeout and ended that threat. Now Richie Gilboy will bat for the 2nd time against Minor. First time he flied out to left. And he looks at a ball. Gilboy, Lodger, and Holland, batters 3, 4, and 5 due up against Minor. Fouled back out of play. One and one for the South Portland native slugger. He, along with Andrew Heffernan and Nick Swain, who's on the bench today, as he grounds that to first. They were all members of the Class A high school State of Maine championship winning South Portland Red Riots.
Up next, Henry Lodger.
There's also one player on this team, Campbell Cassidy, who is on the losing end of that game. He attended Edward Little High School in Auburn. Henry Lodger up now, who struck out looking against Minor, who has 4 Ks to Quinn McDonald's 5. One out in the bottom of the third. Quick 0-2. On Lodger, the Thornton Academy product. His Trojans lost in the Southern Division Finals to South Portland, 4-2. 2-2 from Minor. On the ground short, LeBlond. And Graffam caught it, and a wonderful putout. I didn't know if he had gotten the tag. What a play that was. Had to come off the bag on an errant throw by Jack LeBlond, but he made it work. Spinning around in midair and applying the tag. He gets a gold medal for that. Manager Matt Powers clarifying the ruling of that with the umpire as Gus Holland strolls to the plate, who was another strikeout victim his first time up. Now we're seeing some action in the Lightning pen. Gavin Belarjan has been doing some laps, and it looks like now he's stretching out. One out from Minor on Holland. The Freeport native hit .354, drove in 5 runs this season. And he looks at strike 1. Line into left field, just foul. Minor working on a clean frame. In contrast to how the second inning went for him, he allowed 3 hits and a run. That just misses. 3-2. Base is empty, 2 outs. To second, Chessie coming on. Throws to Graffam in time. Minor coaxes 3 groundouts and gets the Lightning to go in order for the first time. We head to the 4th. Lightning 1, Nor'easters nothing here in this championship game. To the fourth inning we go. Quinn McDonald back on the mound. It seemed like a question as to whether he would be, but able to shake off whatever issues he was having to face off against the heart of the Nor'easter lineup. Dawson Gunlaw, Andrew Merrill, Michael Weirn. Inside to Gunlaw, who has singled. One of 2 hits by the Nor'easters today. I'm Charlie Fellows, as always, bringing you this action. If you're in the live stream chat, why don't you give a shout, leave a comment. If you're enjoying it so far. Been a slow-paced game in terms of hitting. Innings have been flying by. But the Nor'easters want this night to go a little bit later for everybody. A 1-run deficit is easy to make up. Chopped down the left field line foul by Gunlaw, the rising senior at St. Joseph's out of York High School. His college campaign, his junior year with the Monks, he had .264 with 1 bomb and 18 runs batted in. 1-2 in the dirt. Started off this year on an absolute tear. About a third of the way through the season, he was hitting north of 500. Cooled off and is now a measly .333, which is second on the team. The only one higher is batting 4th in this lineup. Andrew Merrill, we'll see from him soon. Ian Libby now also out in the Lightning pen. That's ball 4. Gunlaw draws a leadoff walk. He's on first base for the second time today. Finally having an effective game at doing that after he has struggled so much through the playoffs coming into today. He was 1 for 7 with just a single and reached on a fielder's choice to his name. Man on first and none out for Andrew Merrill, who spoils the first pitch foul. He grounded out to the pitcher to end the first inning. One of the many bats that manager Max Selewski and the Nor'easter faithful hopes can come back to life in this win-or-go-home game. He has just 1 hit in the playoffs after hitting .351, leading the team in batting average during the regular season. Quinn McDonald led the GNCBL in a couple things. Is first in walks and hits per innings pitched with 0.96. 1.19 ERA is second. Also had 21 strikeouts in the regular season. Added 7 more his first start as Merrill spoils that. And a great turnout in the stadium today. Ballpark, whatever you prefer to call it. Ended up being a beautiful day. If a bit cloudy. I won't complain, though. And neither will these two teams, both weather phenomena they are named after, need clouds to get going. Payoff pitch from Quinn McDonald, lined into center field down for a base hit. Merrill has his first hit since the winners' quarterfinals, a good sign for him. And with Michael Weirn due up, Quinn McDonald once again into a jam. Weirn flied out into right field. He can repeat that again, and it would not be the end of the world. Still no outs in the top of the 4th with 2 men on base. And showing bunt, lays one down, and nobody covered first, and everyone's going to be safe. A defensive lapse in the mind of the second baseman Hotham. He could not get there in time, and so that squeeze bunt will pay off, and the bases are going to be loaded here with no outs in the top of the fourth. Just a classic defensive miscue. And Luke Chessie, who is another hitter that wants to break a slump he has been mired in, still looking for his first playoff hit. But he doesn't even need one to score a run. Into foul territory, back out of play. Bases loaded, nobody out. The Nor'easters with a prime opportunity to not only even this game up, but take a lead. Quinn McDonald on the ropes, 0-2. Inside. The senior at Bowdoin out of Thornton Academy. On the ground, foul. 1-2. Lightning still with a pair of arms warming up in the pen. Libby and Belarjan. They might need him soon. 1-2. Cut and a miss. Chessie just cannot buy a hit. He is struck out for the second time today. That is strikeout number 6 for McDonald. And now Ryan Robertson will bat with the bases loaded and 1 down. He also struck out swinging his first time up. Into right field. Caught on a jump, and that's going to be a double play. An incredible defensive effort. Grady Hotham more than making up for his lapse earlier. He lays out and catches the ball with the tip of his glove and then catches Michael Weirn straying a little bit too far off of first base for a double play. The Nor'easters load up the bases with no outs, and in all too familiar fashion, they get nothing. To the bottom of the fourth we go. The Nor'easters still reeling from a whiplash-inducing ending to that bases loaded, no outs threat. And Dylan Miner back on the bump to face Bebo, Hotham, and Owens for the second time. Henry Bebo has walked and scored today. He is the only run on the board. Big cut from him. Well, the Nor'easters loaded up the bases a lot the last time they played the Lightning, but they never did it with no outs. Luke Chessie struck out, and Ryan Robertson lined out to Grady Hotham, who leapt a couple feet into the air to grab it, and then threw to first base to double off Michael Weirn. Hotham was part of the reason the bases were loaded in the first place when he forgot to cover first base on a Michael Weirn bunt. It was supposed to just be a sacrifice bunt to move 2 into scoring position, but he got on first base anyway. But Hotham evened the score there. He will bat after Bebo, who is currently down 0-2. Looks at a ball. Bebo, a 5'7" shortstop, facing off a 6'5" pitcher, and slaps that on the ground as short. LeBlond to Graffam. Out number one. They call it on the tag. Graffam once again having to leave the bag on a less than optimal LeBlond throw.
Up next, Brady.
And that is the fourth straight ground out coaxed by Dylan Miner, dating back to the last inning. Grady Hotham has struck out against Miner, but more than made up for it on the defensive side of the ball, showing bunt, and looks at a strike. Nor'easters with, or at least before, possibly had some bullpen activity brewing with Andrew Pruill, but nothing happening at the moment. We'll see if the Lightning will stick with McDonald. In the first Nor'easter game, it was Josh Kopetsky who constantly was able to wriggle himself out of bases loaded jams, and you could attribute that to the logical explanation of it being his birthday. But no such explanation here. It's just a curse on this matchup. 1-2 for Miner. Waved at and missed. Hotham down on strikes for the second time. Something he is all too familiar with.
Up next, Reese. Oh,
That's Miner's fifth K. Reese Owens has singled. Later got to third on a Matthew Connor double. That also scored Bebo. In center field off the end of the bat, charging was Michael Weirn, but he couldn't get there. A 2-out hit for Owens, his second single of the day.
up next, Matthew.
And Matthew Connor, the latest in a series of unlikely heroes for the Lightning. I talked about that earlier. First, it was Henry Bebo. Last game, it was Henry Lodger. And today, so far, it has been Connor. Who hit just 188 and drove in 3 runs all regular season. Has already driven in 1 today. 0-1 on him. Miner trying to win the run back. Fires strike 1. Andrew Heffernan on deck. 0-2. Waved at and missed. That is K number 6, which ties Miner with McDonald in this strikeout battle we have ongoing. And more importantly, it strands a runner on first. The Nor'easter pitcher doing his best to make up for the run he allowed to score. Surely 1 run won't be enough for the Lightning to take this championship. We shall see if the Nor'easter bats can come to life. They will try here in the top of the 5th inning. We are halfway home at the ballpark. Quinn McDonald to retake the mound once more, trying to keep some magic going and maybe allow less base runners in transit. To blanking the Nor'easters. Dylan Furman, Chris Balzano, Gus Lappin due up. Furman has singled today. And And McDonald starts him off with a strike. The Nor'easters really have struggled to plate runs, especially in high leverage situations against these Lightning arms. Wave at a high fastball for strike 2. And if they lose this game, the story will be the same as it was the first time they lost a playoff game to the Lightning. Not capitalizing on runners in scoring position, and in particular, bases loaded situations. You can call it a lack of the clutch factor. You can call it expert high leverage pitching. You can call it just dumb luck. It is almost certainly a combination of the three. And I'm no statistician, so I'll leave that to you to decide. On the ground to Heffernan at third, throws across his body for the putout. One down for Chris Balzano.
Up next, Chris Balzano.
The Roger Williams Jr. out of Thornton Academy has flied out to center field today, with the bases empty and one down here in the top of the 5th inning. Hits that well into left center field. Lodger ranging, and he is able to make the grab on the run. Second ball off the bat of Balzano that he has caught today. Gus Lappin in the 3rd inning hit a sac fly to advance Dylan Furman to third base, where he was ultimately stranded. Another example. The Nor'easters have had 3 runners in scoring position against the last 2 innings. None have scored. They've left 5 in total. 6, actually, if you count a Dawson Gunloss single in the 1st inning. 1-0 on Lappin. A Husson Jr. hit 208, drove in 10 runs this year. Where perhaps in the waning innings of our season, unless the Nor'easters can mount a comeback, wave out and miss for strike 2. In the dirt to the third baseman. 2-2. 2 outs, none on. Gavin Belarsion continues to work in the Lightning pen. He's been out there for 3 innings now. No equivalent activity in the Nor'easter pen. And Lappin chases. He's visibly frustrated at himself for swinging at that breaking ball. That's the 7th K for McDonald. And the Nor'easters are 6 outs away from being consigned to runners up. To the bottom of the 5th we go. Top of the order due up for the Lightning. Heffernan, Cassidy, Gilboy in the bottom of the 5th. Dylan Miner remains in the game, as you would expect, given the lack of bullpen activity for the Nor'easters. Heffernan has grounded out to the pitcher and walked. And a bit of a quiet stretch for him. Another example of someone who had a red-hot start to their season, but cooled off in a big way and never quite found that swing again. 0-1. It's trite, but you can't help but wonder if the Lightning are able to win this. If that's hit into right center and on the run. Nice catch made by Ryan Robertson for out number 1. Bring up Campbell Cassidy, who has singled and struck out looking with 1 away. As I was saying, if the Lightning do indeed capture the win today and are crowned GNCBL champions, who their playoff MVP would be, based on the numbers so far in terms of raw hitting, it would either be Grady Hotham or Nick Frank, but neither of them really made contributions in those pivotal game-swinging moments. Things like that Campbell Cassidy home run, the Henry Bebo 2-out double on the ground to third for out number 2. Nice stretch by Graffam. Or the Henry Lodger home run to spark the top of the 7th rally against the Norsemen. It's been those one-hit wonders, you could say. Players that have had unremarkable playoff runs so far, but come through in the clutch. And in that sense, you wonder if this clutch moment of this game is yet to be written. Still plenty of baseball left to be played on the nor'easter side. 0-1 to Gilboy, who is flat out and grounded out. Inside take, and that hit him, actually. First hit by pitch issued by either side. Now we'll bring up Henry Lodger, who struck out looking and grounded out today. As I was saying, though, the Nor'easters certainly have shown an ability to get on base and an ability to get hits. So statistics would suggest that sooner or later that will result in at least 1 run. And if and when it does, the Lightning could need magic from some other part of their lineup. Lodger is a candidate, of course. He's done it before. Just 1 game ago at this park. 0-1 from Minor. Grounded to second. Flips on for 1. And that will be the 3rd out. No need for a double play. To the 6th inning we go on Old Orchard Beach. Still a 1-run deficit. Nor'easters with the top of their order to try and erase it. Top of the 6th, Jack LeBlanc, Brady Graffam, Dawson Gunlaw due up. Quinn McDonald going to try for a 6th inning of work. He has thrown 5 so far, allowed 3 hits, 2 walks, struck out 7, and allowed no runs. Strike 1 goes down the middle to LeBlanc, who has struck out swinging and walked. Nor'easters possibly in the twilight of their season now. 0-2. They went 13-10 this year. They were the 1 seed, but they didn't really do it with their bats. They got hits when it mattered, but their rotation carried them. When the bats were the ones that were contributing, names like Dawson Gunlaw, Luke Chessie, and Andrew Merrill were usually the culprits. And aside from Gunlaw, who is 1 for 1 with a walk today, those names have been largely absent during this playoff run. In Chessie's case, absolutely so. 3-2 coming from McDonald. Just got a piece of it. LeBlanc stays alive. Trying to draw his 2nd walk of the game. A leadoff walk, usually a harbinger of rallies to come. And LeBlanc able to draw just that. His 2nd straight walk drawn against McDonald. 3rd issued by him. Brady Graffam has not had as productive a day. He has struck out swinging and struck out looking. One of the Nor'easters' more productive hitters in the playoffs so far, but it's been an off day for him. Ball 1 outside. Thanks one more time to everybody in the chat. In the audience, I should say. Mound Conference now going to commence. Can't pull him in the middle of a plate appearance, but strategy discussion. Graffam, a .246 hitter this year. Hit 4 doubles in the regular season, tacked on 1 more here in the playoffs. Home plate umpire coming out to break up the chat. Lightning relievers having a party out in the bullpen. Belarjan and Libby, along with Reese Owens, the bullpen catcher, they've been just kind of hanging out there for most of this game. That finds the zone, 2-1. Throws back to first. LeBlanc wary of that. McDonald's throwing a lot of pitches, but most of them in 1 inning. And he was able to navigate out of that. Runner goes, taken high for ball 3, slides in safely to second base, does LeBlanc. He's got himself a steal. And a runner in scoring position with no outs. Where have we heard that one before? Graffam with a 3-1 count. Trying to buck any bad juju. Grounded to third. He'll go for the force out to Gilboy. Runner will not advance. 1 away. Dawson Gunlaw has done well at the plate today, has singled and walked. He was stranded at third base when the Nor'easters left him loaded a couple of innings ago. McDonald looks LeBlanc back to second. now deals. Will it be Gunlaw that can finally stick a dagger through the heart of the slump he's been in and tie this game? Into right field. Ranging is Cassidy, and he'll make the grab, tagging no. LeBlond will not advance. Cassidy with a cannon for an arm. Keeps him at his second base home. So not Gunlaw. How about Andrew Merrill then? Who has grounded out to the pitcher and singled. A chance to come through in the clutch for him. If not, it will be down to the final 3 outs for the Nor'easters. That gets away from the catcher, Holland, down to third base and staying there. LeBlond rounded, looked like he might try to score. Would not have been a good decision for him. So LeBlond 90 feet away. Merrill just needs a hit. To light up his bullpen, or his dugout, I should say, with cheers up the middle and through for a base hit. That will tie the game. Merrill exercises his demons from a game ago. He has an RBI and ties this game in the 6th. His second hit of the day, and it is 1-1. This is the Greater Northeast Collegiate Baseball League. You didn't think we were going to send you home that early, did you? With 2 outs, Weirn came through, and that's golfed into right field. That will be on the line and fair off the bat of Michael Weirn, rounding third and staying there. Assistant coach Max Zalewski Jr. throws the brakes, and Merrill will be at third with a 2-out double by Michael Weirn. And now the Nor'easters can tack on a few more if they so choose. That was the second hit of the day for Weirn. And, well, if they want to tack on a few more, then they have to break the mother of all slumps, Luke Chessie. These playoffs is 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts, including 2 in this game. He takes ball 1 with 2 down. Andrew Merrill at third, Michael Weirn at second. And a tied game. Low for a ball. Gus Holland has his work cut out for him. He is a misread or mislayout attempt away from surrendering the lead by himself. 3-0 on McDonald. Or from McDonald, I should say. Down the middle, Chessie watches that one go by. Ryan Robertson on deck, who's also 0 for 2. This has been the problem part of the order. The bottom 5 batters in this order, that goes off the pads of Holland, but it takes a good bounce. Bounces right back toward the first base line, and he's able to corral it. So Weirn cannot score, but it was ball 4. So that will load the bases with 2 outs once again. Chessie reaches base on the 4th walk issued by McDonald, and here comes the manager, Matt Powers. You wonder if this might be where we see the change. Gavin Belarjan has been throwing some more. And indeed it will be. Quinn McDonald's day is done after 5 2/3 of 4-hit, 1-run, 7 strikeout ball. Not too bad, all things considered, but in a game like this where runs are so hard to come by, with the bases loaded and 2 outs, Powers wants to go with another person, and that will actually be Andrew Heffernan. He'll put his closer in to try and get a 4-out save, perhaps. He will start the warm-up process. And once he's done, we will be back to the action here in Old Orchard Beach. I'm back. My mic is on, and we're about ready to start the Andrew Heffernan experiment. He is the closer for the Lightning, coming in to try and get the last 4 outs of the game, facing off against Ryan Robertson with only 1 goal in his mind, desperate not to leave the bases loaded against the Lightning again. That would be the 5th time over the course of these playoffs, and the 2nd time today that they would have done that. Checks a swing, but it was a strike regardless. Robertson is 0 for 2. He is struck out and lined out. He batted with the bases loaded and 2 outs 2 innings ago and lined out to Grady Hotham in a double play that ended the inning. That was after a Luke Chessie strikeout. Merrill at third, Weirn at second, Chessie at first. With 2 outs in a 1-1 game. Got jammed into foul territory. 1 and 2. Nor'easter bench is empty. They are all on their feet. Watching with bated breath. Popped him up into shallow right. Owens can't find it. And Campbell Cassidy covers that ground and bails him out. So that will leave the bases loaded for a 2nd time today. But this time, the Nor'easters do get something out of it. A clutch piece of hitting from Andrew Merrill drives in a run. And we are tied at 1 in the championship game. Do not go anywhere. Bottom of the 2nd, or 6th, excuse me. Bottom of the 6th. Gus Holland, Henry Bebo, Grady Hotham due up. They are a combined 0 for 5 with a walk in the game today. Of course, that walk did end up scoring the Lightning's only run. The Lightning have Ian Libby warming up along with Josh Kopetsky in their pen. The Nor'easters, interestingly, do not have any action in their pen. Dylan Miner is out for a 6th inning of work. You remember the last time he pitched, he cruised through 5, and then the 6th inning is when the wheels came off. That was against the Lightning, too. 2-0 on Holland, who has struck out and grounded out. The catcher made a couple great saves last inning to prevent Michael Weirn, or Andrew Merrill, excuse me, from scoring from third. 2-1. Sacopee Valley graduate to first. Graffin will take it himself. 1 away. Henry Bebo now, who has grounded out to short and walked. Later came around to score after a Reese Owens single and a Matthew Connor double. It is the only run that Miner has allowed. He's issued just 2 walks all day. Struck out 6 and allowed 3 hits. And allowed just the 1 run. which equals the amount that his bats have allowed. Averts some of the pressure off of his shoulders, but in another way, just adds more, considering the game is now in his hands until his bats can summon some more pop. 2-0 on the Portland native, and that finds the zone. I believe that was Nick Frink that just arrived into the Lightning bullpen, or the Lightning dugout. So, not a Merrimack just yet, had a prior commitment, but if the Lightning fall in this one, he will be in the lineup in the do-or-die reset game. 2-2 from Minor. To second, Chessie can't get it. Would have been an exceptionally difficult play, throwing with his momentum carrying him the other way, but could not dig it out of the grass. Bebo reaches for the second time, first via hit. Brady Hotham has struck out twice. He had some positive momentum in the last few games after a season filled with strikeouts and low batting average, reverting back to his former ways here today, perhaps, but the Lightning have gotten unlikely heroes all postseason long. And if things hold today, if things hold the way they are right now, we could be on track to see something we have not seen in the Greater Northeast Collegiate Baseball League all year. A rousing round of extra innings, and that would only be for game one. But I want as much baseball between these two teams as I can get. Bunt laid down, foul. And catcher and third baseman colliding on the third base line. 1-2 on Hotham. He can't try that again. And at last, the Nor'easters with some bullpen activity. Aaron Kiss is up in the pen. Andrew Pearl over there as well. Both relievers. 1-2. And that gets through Lappin, or Furman rather. Down to second goes Henry Bebo. Two, one out, and a man at second. The go-ahead run, 180 feet away. Two and two to Hotham. Off the pads of Furman again, and that will give third base to Bebo. Two straight pass balls has the go-ahead run 90 feet away. Nor'easters wishing they had gotten some insurance right about now. Payoff pitch from the East Baldwin native. Hotham fights it off. The results of this at-bat could have major ramifications on this game and by proxy on the seasons of both these teams. Reese Owens on deck. He is 2 for 2 today. Fouled back. Hotham with a lengthy at-bat, making Dylan Minor earn it. But reinforcements are not on the way for him. He has got to gut through this. And another payoff pitch. Hit hard out to left, but Chris Balzano finds it. Tagging, but will not try to score. A perfect relay throw would have rendered him dead meat on the base pass. Henry Bebo remains at third. Hotham has not had a great day, but you know who has? This guy, Reese Owens, filling in for the absent Nick Frink. He is 2 for 2 with a pair of singles. Assistant coach Max Zalewski Jr. out to talk with Dylan Miner, and that will potentially be the end of his day. I saw a fist bump, but that was possibly just a supportive gesture. Aaron Kiss has not started throwing in the pen, and yeah, Dylan Miner will remain in the game. Owens has not been vanquished by Miner yet, but with 2 outs and a man on third, Miner needs to get one in the win column for him. If Hotham had hit that fly ball literally anywhere else, as that is jammed off the end of the bat to first, and Graffam steps on the bag to end the threat. Henry Bebo gets 3/4 of the way there, but he cannot score the go-ahead run. And the Nor'easters, with 3 more outs before extra innings kick in, Furman, Balzano, and Lappin, the bottom 3 in the order, to try and make some magic happen. Do not go anywhere. Back to the action. Apologize for that. Just had to tinker with some settings. Dylan Furman, every time he has batted today, he has led off an inning. He has led off innings 3, 5, and now 7. Chris Balzano and Gus Lappin due up. Furman has singled and grounded out today, with Andrew Heffernan in for a full inning of closing duty. Trying to keep this knotted at 1. So if the Lightning win the championship, they will do it via walk-off. 2-0. Chop foul. Furman, sophomore out of USM. Originally from Stratham, New Hampshire. He made quite the commute to get here today, as he does for every Nor'easter game. Soft grounder, foul. This season he hit .314 with 8 runs batted in after his freshman campaign with the Huskies, hitting .417. When most freshmen on that team didn't even see the field for more than a couple at-bats. Hard hit down the left field line, fair, off the bag. That will be a very hard hit single, as the left fielder Connor was in the right place at the right time to prevent that from rolling further. A leadoff hit from Furman, his second of the day. And that will bring Chris Balzano to the plate. He and Lappin are a combined 0 for 4. They're the next 2 up. Balzano has flied out to Henry Lodger in center twice. And now a pinch runner will be called. That's Hunter Brissett into the game to run for Furman. The catcher lacking in the speed department. Brissett frequently used as a pinch runner in these playoffs. That's hit well out to center, but for the 3rd time, Lodger will catch it and vanquish Balzano. That's the 3rd F8 for him. Gus Lappin now will bat with 1 down. He has struck out and hit a sac fly. Jack LeBlanc due up, and another man up into the Nor'easter pen. That's actually Michael Weirn, a position player but apparently doubles as a pitcher. He's made a couple appearances, spot appearances, no more than a couple outs on the mound this year. But as I said before, the Nor'easters and the Lightning, but especially the Nor'easters, need to be wary of going deep into their bullpen. And if this game goes to extra innings, that may be unavoidable to an extent. Though if you're the Nor'easters, your priority right now is winning, and then you'll deal with all that other stuff later. Strike two. Lappin not enthused. 0-2 with one out. A runner on first. The go-ahead run, which Heffernan is not happy about and throws over. On the ground to third, to second, and gets through the glove of the second baseman Hotham, so both runners will be safe. Brissett advances to second after Hotham could not dig that out of the dirt, and Lappin has his first hit of the game. A pair of singles allowed by the closer, and now the top of the lineup is here. Jack LeBlanc has drawn 2 walks and struck out. He's also scored the only run of the game for his team. Looks at strike one right down the middle. Runners on first and second with one away. Heffernan has been one of the better closers in the league this year. In fact, to the extent that the other teams even had dedicated closers like the Lightning do. Inside, called a strike. 1-2. To LeBlanc, senior at USM, out of Bridgeton Academy. Lewiston native. Another long commute, and he takes strike 3. Rung up on 2 pitches that just catch the corner. Second K for him. First for Heffernan. And it will come down to Brady Graffam with 2 down. He is 0 for 3, struck out swinging, looking, and grounded out. And he looks at strike 1. Heffernan having no trouble finding the zone here. The beautiful breaking ball. If the Nor'easters do not score here, they will leave it up to either get walked off on or win the thing in extras. Under the lights that have just come on at the ballpark. Not that anyone watching the broadcast can see it. As it gets darker, though, if we go to a second game, they'll be there. Another strike. Heffernan painting the corners. And the Nor'easters down to their last strike of this inning. And that strike will be found swinging the bat of Brady Graffam. He has struck out 3 times today. Heffernan hands the ball to the Nor'easters, and it is now in their court. They either win another and live to see one more game if we go to extra innings, or get to see their arch rivals walk it off and win the title. We will see how it unfolds in the bottom of the 7th and further. I'm coming back a little early just to say thank you to everyone, all 6 and counting of you in the live chat and the live stream. It really does mean a lot to get to bring a game of this caliber to so many people. Dylan Miner is trying to complete a complete game.
Now hitting for the Lightning, Blake.
Though 7 innings will almost certainly not be enough to get the Nor'easters the win. Blake Peoples lays down a foul bunt. He is batting for Matthew Connor, who's actually had a pretty good day at the plate. But he is subbed out in favor of the Wyndham High School graduate, who is mainly a pitcher. Hitting in a high leverage situation here. Miner. Again, a foul bunt. We have had close games in the playoffs before, but none like this. Dylan Miner pitching with his team's fate on his shoulders, and he gets a strikeout to start it. His 7th, first in a couple innings. Blake Peoples goes down. And now Andrew Heffernan will bat. He's flied out, grounded out, and walked. With Campbell Cassidy on deck. He and Heffernan, the other two, guaranteed to hit in this inning. To right into foul territory, coming on Graffam, and that's a 1-pitch out. It has not been Andrew Heffernan's day. Quick 2 outs
Next up, Campbell Cassidy.
for the Lightning, and now Campbell Cassidy will be the last man to bat in regular innings. Not sure what the term is for that. Non-extra innings, normal innings. Cassidy has singled, also struck out and grounded out. Miner started off this game a little rocky, but seems to have only gotten better as the innings have gone on. And if necessary, perhaps he will pitch into extra innings just for the chance to give his team another game to win it all. 0-1. Wave at and missed by Cassidy. Oh, and 2. Misses. Diving stop by Furman. Actually, that's Ryan Robertson behind the plate now. A few defensive assignments have changed. Hit softly to second. Throws on. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going extras. Do not go anywhere. 7 innings is the regulation game for every GNCBL game this season until tonight. Top of the 8th coming right up. Well, what was originally going to be a 4-out save is transformed into a long relief appearance for Andrew Heffernan. He's got the heart of the Nor'easter lineup in the top of the eighth, excuse me. Dawson Gunlaw, Andrew Merrill, Michael Weirn. All three of them have reached base twice. Gunlaw, the only one without 2 hits. He has a single, a walk, and a fly out, showing bunt. And it appears we've taken a page out of the Major League book. I actually did not know this was a rule in the playoffs, but we have a ghost runner on second base. That is Brady Graffam. So, not entirely sure how you score that one, but just remember he's there. I was wondering why Heffernan was looking over there so much and why Gunlaw was trying to bat with the bases empty. But in any event, 1-1 for him. A man in scoring position already. Two and one. Josh Kopetsky heading out to the... Or that's actually Nick Swain heading out to the Lightning bullpen. Strike 2. Well, you have to figure a runner on second does probably favor the Lightning, as they have consistently been able to get hits. Off the end of the bat to second. Throwing on to Gilboy for out number 1, but Graffam now at third base.
Up next, Andrew Merrill.
So Graffam 90 feet away, doing ghost runner things. Andrew Merrill will bat. He is singled twice and grounded out. Drove in. Thus far, the Nor'easter's only run has a chance to drive in another. That's chopped to short and throws home and through the glove of the catcher Holland. And the Nor'easters have taken the lead here in extra innings. Brady Graffam wasted no time in making it home. And it is 2-1 in favor of the visitors. Michael Weir now with 1 away. Andrew Merrill was actually able to get to second on that with the attention focused on home plate. Weir takes strike 1. And Heffernan steps off. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if this score holds, we've got more baseball ahead of us. As the Lightning only needed 1 win, but the Nor'easters need 2. If they can close this thing out, the bullpens will switch, and the Nor'easters will host the Lightning, as that's on the ground as second. Hotham to Gilboy for out number 2, but once again, a runner on third as Merrill advances.
At bat, Luke Chessie.
And Luke Chessie up, who is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts and a walk. That second game will be winner take all. A championship on the line. 2 outs in the top of the 8th. Heffernan trying to avoid any further damage. This, of course, is still more than manageable for the Lightning, especially with that ghost runner. One and one. Merrill at third base. 2-1 now. Two and two. Swinging straight from Chessie. He could use a hit right about now. Comebacker to Heffernan. He will throw over to Gilboy to retire the side and move to the bottom of the 8th. But a 2-1 lead. The Nor'easters have reversed the deficit they faced for so long in this game. And it will come down to Richie Gilboy, Henry Lodger, Gus Holland, and the bottom of the 8th inning to see if we Either keep playing, walk the thing off, or move to a winner-take-all game 2. Don't go anywhere, because I haven't already said that. The action is right here. Well, Dylan Miner's day is finally done, but what a day it was. 7 innings, allowed just 4 hits, struck out 7, and allowed just the 1 run. He is replaced by the reliever Aaron Kiss, freshman headed to Husson. After graduating from Massabesic, he will be facing the heart of the Lightning order, batters 3, 4, and 5. Though they haven't had the best day at the plate. Combined, Gilboy, Lodger, and Holland are 0 for 8. Gilboy has reached on a hit by pitch, but that is it. And he has been picked off right after doing that. So the Nor'easters 3 outs away from forcing a do-or-die bracket reset. The game is in Aaron Kiss's hands. First pitch drilled down the line, but foul. That at home run distance off the bat of Gilboy, always liable to do that. He hit 2 home runs in the regular season. Kiss once again. That's blooped into foul territory. The Lightning, of course, have a ghost runner. That's Campbell Cassidy. On second base, at least I assume. I can't quite make out the number, but in MLB rules anyway, the ghost runner is the last person to bat in the inning before. So unless a pinch runner was called, Cassidy is there. High ball 1. Lightning players and fans alike happy about that one. People are pacing around in anticipation. Just misses again. 2-2. Aaron Kiss has only been used sparingly this season, but in the interest of not using every last arm available in the bullpen, he is in now. Hit high into foul territory off the left, and Gus Lappin has it for out number 1. Excuse me. Henry Lodger now is 0 for 3. He's struck out, grounded out, and hit into a fielder's choice. 1 away in the bottom of the 8th. Aaron Kiss can get the save in the biggest 3 outs he has recorded all season by far. But Henry Lodger will not be one of them. He reaches on a hit by pitch. And that will bring Gus Holland to the plate. But not before a mound conference. Aaron Kiss has only faced 2 batters. And retired one of them, but of course, runners on first and second because of that ghost runner. Gus Holland has grounded out twice and struck out. Meanwhile, some more activity with Colin McDonald getting loose in the Nor'easter pen. He pitched just 2 days ago. McDonald tossed a complete game shutout against the Norsemen to get the Nor'easters here. On short rest, he may be asked to come in and close this game out soon if Aaron Kiss cannot navigate out of this jam. Ball 1 left low to Holland, who, as I said, has grounded out twice and struck out. Coming into today, he was 1 for 7 with a walk, so he has not had a hot bat. Calls for time. Dusk beginning to fall here at Old Orchard Beach, and it will only continue, especially if this score holds. But the winning run is at first base. That gets away from the catcher. He throws down, and safe is the call. That was a bang-bang play, and things just got a lot worse for the Nor'easters. A double play, no longer a possibility. A costly miscue by Ryan Robertson could not catch the Aaron Kiss offering cleanly. Lodger down to second, Cassidy down to third. The winning run at second base. And Gus Holland can be the hero. Put that MVP trophy on ice. Fictional trophy, of course. We don't actually have a trophy. 3-0. Henry Bebo would bat if given the chance, and he almost certainly will be. 3-0 from Kiss. And he walked him on 4 pitches. The bases are loaded, and the straights have never been this dire. And that will almost certainly be the end of the line for Aaron Kiss. Records 1 out, but loads the bases on a hit by pitch and a walk. And indeed, it will be the end for him. We'll see who comes in to replace him. There have been a number of people warming up in the Nor'easter bullpen over the last couple innings. We'll stay right here, though. As it is going to be Colin McDonald pitching on 2 days' rest. We'll be right back with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 8th. The Lightning just one big hit away from walking it off and winning the title. In case I haven't said it already, don't go anywhere. Well, with the season on the line, Max Zalewski, the manager, has to go to the break glass in case of emergency option. Colin McDonald threw a complete game shutout on Sunday night over the Norsemen to get the Nor'easters into this game. But now, with the bases loaded and 1 out, the season hanging in the balance, he will come out on 2 days' rest to try and retire Henry Bebo and Grady Hotham in a sink or swim situation. Cassidy was the ghost runner. He's at third. Strike one comes in to Bebo, who is 1 for 2 with a walk, a single, and a strikeout. Holland is at first. Henry Lodger at second. 0-1. Big cut. Aaron Kiss lasted just 1/3 of an inning. After the Dylan Miner masterclass, it may be for naught. 0-2. On the ground to third. Throws home for the force out. And that play just saved the season. It was a close call, but by a matter of inches, the second out is recorded. Bebo gets on with the fielder's choice. The runners advance. Cassidy struck down on the throw from the third baseman, Gus Lappin.
Grady Hotham.
And so Grady Hotham, who has struck out twice and flied out today, he's 0 for 3. You have been chosen to be the hero. Against Colin McDonald, waves at and misses at strike one. It's a poetic twist of fate. In order to keep their season alive, the Nor'easters must do unto the other team what they so many times have suffered themselves. Leave the bases loaded. And they are one strike away from doing just that, ladies and gentlemen. Out of the pen on 2 days rest. Colin McDonald has not thrown a ball yet. Swing and a miss. And we will see you in 30 minutes. Do or die, Nor'easters versus Lightning. The ultimate showdown. Winner takes the championship. Loser out at second place. There's only one way this season could have ended, and it's right here in this exact manner. Nor'easters will be home. Lightning will be away. That game will start as soon as it's possible to, and it will be on this exact same channel, probably a new link, so that will be going out soon. Until then, though, I've been Charlie Fellows, and for the next few heart-wrenching minutes, take care.